President Tinubu says he's glad today that the Nigerian economy is now stabilized. And the DSS has arraigned 9 individuals identified as prime suspects in connection with the recent wave of killings in Benue and Plateau states. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimalo here in Abuja. Let's begin tonight by letting you know that there was a protest today. Members of the Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria blocked the entrance of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja, protesting the non-payment of funds for contracts they executed for the federal government. Protesters carried placards with various inscriptions demanding for the immediate payment of money owed for completed projects since 2024. The protesters denied members of staff entrance into the ministry, and the minister and his convoy was also not allowed to enter through the main gates.
We had a meeting with the General of the Federation last week, Wednesday, and he promised us that all finalized payments will drop into the beneficiary's account within 48 hours.
All right. Let's also let you know that President Bola Tinubu says his administration is taking bold economic decisions and reforms are ongoing. According to him, the aim is to restore Nigeria to its enviable position and achieving favorable results, bringing respect to the country from across the globe. The president said this when he received the traditional ruler of Ogbomosho, the Shong of Ogbomosho, where the president said the country has confronted again, the nation was confronted with arbitrage trading of currency and illusion of selling papers, corruption all over the place, and the integrity of the country and its economy being extremely and adversely challenged. According to the president, quote, "We are to take those actions with your prayers, patience, perseverance, and great understanding. I'm glad to tell you today that the economy is now stabilized. The bleeding has stopped, the hemorrhage is gone, the patient is alive." Those are some of those things the president told those who came with the Shon of Ogbomosho. And of course, earlier today, the governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullah Sule, after meeting with President Bola Tinubu, said that there is no political person, political force that can defeat Bola Tinubu in the 2027 election. We'll be bringing you some of the highlights right here on the program. But let's tell you that the DSS seems to be very now swift, at least what we have seen under the Oluwatosin Ajayi time at the DSS. So what we have seen is that you heard about the Yawata, Benue, and Yawata attacking Benue State, and some of the attacks you saw in Plateau State. It's interesting now to hear that the federal government, through the DSS, have now arraigned 9 individuals before a federal high court in Abuja over the alleged complicity in recent killings in Benue and Plateau State. One of the 9, Timna Manjor, pleaded guilty to 2 of the charges of illegal possession of arms filed against him. The others, named as defendants in 6 separate charges, took turns to enter their pleas to the allegations raised against them, including unlawful possession and dealing in firearms, assisting in terrorism activities, among others. Those arraigned are Tekende Ashua, 46-year-old, Amos Alede, 44 years old, named in the charge, marked FHC ABJCR 4482 2025. Others are Aruna Adamu 26, Mohammed Abdullahi 48, Alima Aliru Usman 32. Others are Timna Manjo 46 years old, and Nambo Tali 75 years old. Manjo was the one who pleaded guilty to 2 of the 4 counts contained in the charge of which he was arraigned with Talu, where the report contains offenses and particular charges. One defendant, Tima, pleaded guilty to counts 1 and 3 and not guilty to 2 and 4, while the others pleaded not guilty, and suspect are to remain in the DSS custody. Particularly interesting to know that the arrest, which has become swift, and investigation commenced and trial have now started, which is a character that we are now seeing in under the Oluwatosin Ajayi since assumption of office in terrorism-related offenses. Let's take a listen to one of the lawyers of the DSS.
If you notice what happened in court today, one of the accused pleaded guilty. And that goes to tell you that before we bring anybody to court, we have done our homework. And for the records, we are still investigating this crime. We will only see swift dispensation of justice under this current administration. And before I forget, today we have filed a new 5-count charge against another defendant in the Plateau crisis. And this goes to show you that we are not relenting in our fight against this insecurity that is currently ravaging our country.
All right, let's get talking to that. My guest tonight is someone you know very well. I mean, since the flyer came out, a lot of people are wondering what the conversation will be. It's no holds barred. And there are fundamental questions tonight. Is the North united against President Bola Tinubu? Or are the rumblings just political noise? Is the debate being stirred up in the Nigerian political landscape, raising concern within the APC over issues of power rotation, accusation of lopsided federal appointment, stalled projects, and the worsening issues of security, issues raised on poverty across some northern parts of the country, and prominent voices who have argued that the North has been shortchanged under the Tinubu administration, raising fears of a looming gang-up that could shape the road to 2027. I'm being joined by one of the most senior members in the National Assembly, a 4-time member of the House of Representatives, a member of the NNPP in Kano State, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin is the chair of the House Committee on Housing and Habitat. It's live for us here in our city. Thanks so much indeed, Honorable, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Shemu.
A lot of people think that you have been quiet in recent times.
I get very surprised when people think I'm quiet, but I think maybe they try to draw a bit of a comparison with the Jibrin of the last 15 years.
The younger Jibrin
version of the Jibrin and the rest. But otherwise, I've been pretty active.
You're a Kwankwasi at heart.
Oh, absolutely.
Your cap says as much.
Absolutely. I'm Kwankwasi. I'm an NPP. That's it.
What I mean, I thought that well, you're from Kano State, but what we heard was that Kwankwanso was on his way to the APC. What stalled it?
Well, I don't know, but I think the appropriate thing to say, or maybe to ask, is perhaps where we are and where we are headed to. But as far as that is actually concerned, I'm pretty sure you heard his last comment. He's always maintained that his doors are open and our doors are open for discussions and everything. It's a possibility.
I know that there's a relationship between Kwankwanso and President Bola Tinubu. Yeah. That also has caused some kind of division within the political landscape in Kano State. There are those who believe that how would the president manage a Kwankwanso coming into the APC and a Ganduje, who is the leader of the party, who is just exited as the national chairman of the party? Does that personally give you a concern?
Well, of course, it gives me a lot of concern. But the interesting thing is that my opinion has always been known by everyone, and I've tried to ensure that in the interest of Kano and by extension the interest of Nigeria, that there's some sort of stability in our polity. It's quite a complex process when you look at it. Taking it for granted, for instance, if you say Kwankwaso is moving to APC or we are moving to APC, even within the APC in Kano, you have a lot of people that wouldn't want him to come, perhaps those who want to be governor or those who don't want to be governor, etc. I wouldn't want to go too deep into that. But again, the discussions are still going on. But for me, everyone knows that I've always advocated, even right from the beginning of the government, for us to work out a government of national unity. I never stop at that. I felt offended myself by Ganduje. Of course, everybody knew what happened. But still, I try to make sure that there's some sort of peace between himself and Kwankwaso. But I did my best to see that, and I believe it's in their own mutual interest. But at the end of the day, it's the decision of Kwankwaso and Ganduje to decide how they want to go about it is. And I tell you this, I do that not for even political reasons. I do that even for moral reasons, for peace to prevail, for things to go on. Then talking about the issue of the alliance or merger or anything and the rest, as I said, I don't want to go too deep into that in order not to preempt any processes. It's difficult, but what I keep saying all the time, so long as it's human beings that are involved, everything it's a possibility.
So the door of there's still a likelihood that Kwankwaso joins the APC. Is not that conversation is not closed.
It's not closed, and he's never said it is. He's never said it's closed.
So because what the implication is that Kano gave President Bola Tinubu over almost 530 million votes, or
yes.
1,000 votes rather, out of the over 1 million votes that was up for contest in that state. It means a lot. Yeah. It means that if Kwankwaso goes, the governor of Kano State almost will go. The NNPP, the Kwankwasia movement, will almost go into the APC. Where Kwankwaso goes, his supporters go with him. It means a lot, isn't it? And that's why a lot of people are keeping tabs on whether or not, and what exactly is stalling. And you have told us that is the Ganduje and those who have ambition of governor that is stalling. Stalling Kwankwaso's movement.
We've come a long way. Don't put words in my mouth. I did not say it is the Ganduje's. I never said that.
You said those who have ambition.
What I said is that even within the APC in Kano, you could have a situation. You may have a situation where you will have some vested interest that wouldn't want us to come in, maybe because of their own interest, somebody wanted to be governor or whatever, and the rest. That does it. But there is even much more than that in reality. Talking about how formidable it is, yes, Kwankwasia, it's very formidable, a very strong movement. It's actually a movement. But I like to put in a lot of modesty whenever I talk about humility, whenever I talk about that. Because when it comes to politics, nobody is indispensable.
Would you go out of the NNPP without Kwankwaso going first?
No. But the one thing I want you to understand is that at my age, particularly age, I think I'm old enough to make decisions for myself.
That means that there is a likelihood that you move to the APC.
Well, I keep saying everything, it's a possibility.
Are you having that conversation?
Let
me give context. When I'm asking this question, you understand that it comes with a whole lot of historical and a lot of understanding that comes with the question. You are one of the very first persons that came out to say you were supporting and rooting for President Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
In fact, you remember that I was in Kofa.
Absolutely.
And I saw the ulamas and the spiritual warriors that you put together, and you said to me on the eve of 2020,
January 2022.
of 2022, you said to me that Bola Tinubu is going to be president. Even when it was not certain I was going to get a ticket, you said to me that all of these, almost 1,000 or so ulamas that you put together, that they were going to be praying for Bola Tinubu. And you've met with the president twice in the last few weeks.
Sorry to interrupt you. Again, I believe I cannot see anything that will stop him from winning election in 2027.
Are you God?
I'm not God. I said, again, I believe. So who do I believe in? God. So I said, I believe. I did not say, again, I am saying. I say, I believe that I do not see. Maybe because we started the conversation top-bottom. If we had started bottom-top, we would have built up to get to this level.
No, I understand that.
Actually,
a lot of Nigerians are aware of the issues.
And by the way, there is no two words about it. I'm a Tinubu person.
You're a Tinubu man in NNPP.
I'm a Tinubu man. Call it anyhow you want to call it. I'm a Tinubu person.
What was your...
I like him, and he likes me. And I think it's also very important. Even in a working environment, it's quite important that you have a boss that likes you, or you like him, and so that's the point. Irrespective of party affiliation, it's been a great relation.
So you would choose a Bola Tinubu ahead of Kwankwaso in a presidential election?
No. I would choose Kwankwaso and Bola Tinubu to work together.
But who did you...
Tinubu as president.
Who did you...
Because I actually believe that the South should finish the remaining 4 years.
That's what you believe?
Yes. And we're just having the conversation before I walked in here with someone, and we're talking about the argument. I had someone making arguments in one of the TV channels yesterday, talking about the fact that the North has been shortchanged in terms of the rotation of the presidency. Shehu, I feel terribly embarrassed when I see knowledgeable Northerners of high standing in the society saying that the North has been shortchanged in terms of rotation of power. The North hasn't been shortchanged. The North has had power for 39.5 years. The South had 28 years. Nigeria did not...
Where are you calculating it from? You're calculating from 19... Hold on. No. So that Nigerians can understand. Is it from 1960 or when?
Listen. So that you can ask your question. Nigeria started from when? Independence, 1960. That is it. And so you cannot count power from 1999. I think I can look at anybody and tell him that whoever you are, I can look at you and tell you that it is unfair. And you know the danger in it? The former head of states is an insult to them. When a Northerner goes to national television and says Nigeria starts from 1999, Gawan has been was head of state for 9 years. Shagari, 4 years. You don't even include Shagari, Shehu Shagari. Then you have Buhari, 2 years. You have Babangida, 8 years. You have Abacha, 5 years. You have Yar'Adua, 3 years. You have Buhari, 8 years. Do we recognize Babangida as a former president? Yes, we do. Do we recognize Abacha as a former head of state? Yes, we do. Do we recognize Buhari as a former head of state and later former president? Yes, we do. That has never been in contention in this country. So I don't think it's a very good line of argument to place it. Secondly, talking about the unity of the North, I think I'm even far more concerned about that than even the issue of NNPP, because talking about the North in its entirety, for me, it's far more important. To be honest with you, that was why I said to you that I still believe that the president will win in 2027.
How did you come to that?
I don't see that, because now when you say there's a gang up or the North is uniting, we should stop deceiving ourselves. The North has always united against itself. And it is time for us to tell ourselves the truth. Where's the unity in the North? Where's the unity? For goodness sake, we should search our conscience. Where is the unity in the North? What we've always done, if anybody rise up in the North, we gang up to bring the person down. This is what has been happening. And I'm pretty sure those who they are going to contest, I guess let me even be specific. The Tinubu that some are saying they're going to contest again, or they are going to defeat him and the rest, must be seated somewhere and smiling, because he can see how disunited we are. Take even the former vice presidents. All these are not things that you might be reading every day on the pages of newspapers. First Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Part of the reason that put him on collision with Obasanjo, it was some Northerners that formed a strong bloc. Who are you to assume Northern leadership? You are not the leader in the North. Brought him down. Namadi Sambo faced the same thing. Kashim Shettima facing the same thing. Was Gawan not a military president? 9 years? Was it Southerners that took Gawan out of power? No, Northerners. Shagari, democratically elected. Who were those? Who did it? Northerners. Buhari, Northerners. Babangida, oh, they say Buhari too rigid. They brought Babangida. They say Babangida is too soft. It wasn't Nadeko. Nadeko were fighting from, sorry, it was Northerners that put even far more pressure that got Babangida out of power. We keep doing this to ourselves. Abacha came in, brought some of them, made them minister. When he got tired, dropped them from ministers. They ganged up, fought him, got him out of power. Yaradua, what did he go through with Northerners? So when we sit down, I keep saying this thing since they started this argument, oh, Northern interests. I want my brothers and sisters in the North to know. And there are a lot of young people, brilliant people. Our region is so blessed. I tell you this, Sean, believe me, and I'm ready to debate this with anybody, the North is richer than the southern part of Nigeria.
In what sense?
The only thing is that we've not had a situation where we maximize our potentials. In what sense? We have the population, we have the fertile land for agriculture, we have all the minerals and resources you can ever think of. In the southern part of the country, you are talking about only oil and gas. There is no any mineral you think about that you do not have in the northern.
I think every part of the country
in the northern part of the country. No, let's not make this the purpose of saying this. The purpose of saying this,
depending on where you are standing.
The purpose of saying this is not to create a debate. It's to make you understand that we have huge potentials. So who is deceiving who? Look at a lot of Northerners. Every day we are fighting ourselves on television and the rest. Is it that there are no leaders in the North? Traditional rulers, 19 Northern governors. You will see very prominent Northerners who are those that we should call our leaders, pouring mud at themselves in a public glare. There's some Northerners, some Northern leaders who will go behind, clap hand and the rest, play double game. And so the whole of this thing has become so much of toxic and at the expense of the majority of Northerners. So anybody who will come and sit here and say, oh, I'm talking for the North and speaking for the North, nobody is...
Give me a moment. Let me jump in quickly, just for a moment.
There is nothing, and I repeat, there is nothing that I have seen in terms of any organization. Look, take for instance now, the PDP that you are talking about. Are they not Northerners that were seated there that flush out Atiku out of the party? So what are you talking about? After that, I didn't
just for a moment. Let me ask you the argument about the North having more time running the affairs of this country, either in military uniform or as a civilian leader in this country. There are those who will say, put that aside, because the argument is a 1999 to date argument, where you had Olusegun Obasanjo 8 years from 1999 to 2007. You had the time of Umaru Yar'Adua cut short by death in office and taking over by Goodluck Jonathan. Buhari came for 8 years. And there are those who will say, well, if you add 5 years of Jonathan to the 8 years of Olusegun Obasanjo, you're going to have about 13 years plus. And now Bola Tinubu has done 2 years, which he will do 4 years in the first term. 4 plus another 13 years, that's going to take you to about 17 years compared to Yaradua of about 2 years and Buhari of 8 years. That is about 10 years. That those who will say, look, anyone can contest whichever part of this country the person is coming from. That in fact, 2027 is the time for another candidate.
How old are you, Shion?
You know, I'm way in my 40s, so.
No, specifically, how old are you?
I can't say that on television, but okay. My age is out there.
Okay, you are okay. Let's say you are in your 40s. Let's for the purpose of this conversation, let's say you are 40, 41. All right? Can someone start counting your age from 15 or 16?
You are comparing apples with oranges.
No.
The comparison.
Can someone start counting your age from 15 or from 16? Can someone start? So let me also ask you the second question. I'm sorry, it's your duty to ask the question today, but it's my own form of answer. It's my own form of
indirect way of answering.
Yes, yes. So what happens now? We'll come back to your theory of 99 to date. So what happens to before 99 to 1960? So we put everything together and throw it in the dustbin. We say Nigeria never existed. Meanwhile, we still talk about certain legacies that all those former presidents and the rest actually did. We make references to them on a daily basis. We put their portraits in public office and the rest. And every day when you talk about former Nigerian head of state, former Nigerian leaders, we list them out. Has anybody been able to delete them? As far as I know, the National Assembly hasn't. The Constitution hasn't. Nothing has changed. So you cannot start counting from 1990. Let's not even make that a subject of a conversation. I feel very embarrassed getting involved in that. You don't even discuss that. It makes no sense. You understand? Anything that makes sense, I will bring it out here today and say it makes sense. But this absolutely makes no sense. But you see, my worry is that something very, very strategic happened. But many people are taking it for granted. The Southwest, from Aolo Action Congress to the Second Republic to AD, all the way to AC and everything and the rest, they were all in the region. They were all in that tight corner. And they held their own. But they also understand, for them to be able to have an exercise power over Nigeria and get to do what they want, they have to be in the center. One person took time, strategized with a team, working through his life with a lot of people, and was able to pull that sectional side of the country to the center. Now, my fear with what is happening now is that we should not make a mistake. And sometimes don't overstretch your luck. There's that strong belief that the bulk vote from the Northwest and the Northeast always make a president. Now, you can have a very complicated election where you have a president that will muster sufficient votes from the southern part of the country and the central part of the country, and get what he wants to get from the Northwest and the Northeast and win the election. If he does that, you've pushed the North to opposition. And we are talking about, we are people who have been, people who are good with the center. If you push the North to opposition, how do you now foster development? For the purpose of opposition? No. You do governance or politics or the interests of your people. And that is why I also disagree. When people come, they talk about, yes, insecurity, there is insecurity. Very sensitive issue. Things are happening around the country, here and there. But what I will never agree, no matter how you try to convince me, is now to say a Tinubu of 2 years is the one who has created the entire insecurity problem in Nigeria, it falls. Let's be honest with ourselves, it falls.
Fundamentally, the question I'm asking you tonight
is
that you are disputing that the North is disunited.
Yeah.
But can you deny the fact that there are forces in the North who want Tinubu out by all means?
Well, I don't know even why I laughed over this. You're right. If you take the trajectory of my initial the conversation with you, you will also understand I alluded to that. So it's a team of personalities, individuals, and the rest. On the other hand, there are a couple of them that I believe that could have been managed in a better way. But all the same, yes, truly, there are people in the North that want him out. You will have also people in the southern part of the country that want him out. But at the same time, I tell you this, and take it to the bank, Tinubu is not an orphan in the North. He has people. He has people in the North. And maybe they are not talking as much as they should, but he has people. So as much as you have people that want him out, you also have people that want him in. And as event keeps unfolding, you will see people who will come here and oppose him, people who will come here and support him, people who will come and oppose, people who will come and support him. So I don't think he's an orphan in the North. And it is dangerous for somebody to actually think Tinubu has no support in northern part of the country. It will be a dangerous calculation.
What did the president tell you? He seems he has brought you over.
So, I'm sorry. Look at how you've made me to burst into laughter on national TV. I think at my level shown, I would take it as a joke. But it's an expensive.
I'm serious.
No, it's an expensive. It's an expensive.
You're not able to tell us what the president told you.
Why I'm saying I'm taking it as a joke, because I also saw a bit of a smile. I see a bit of smile in your face and the rest on your face, and so I'm going to take it as a
I'm serious.
As a joke.
I've not asked you any joking question.
Now, on the issue of the president about me and the rest, what is surprising about what I'm saying? What is new?
So what did he tell you?
I'm asking you, what is new?
I'm asking you, what did he tell you?
No, you are saying...
He must have told you something
I think you were...
that have made you an NNPP member and in opposition.
I don't want to interrupt
Start preaching about a candidate and the president that is from the APC.
Absolutely.
There's something must have happened.
Okay, thank you. Please allow me, to gently answer you. What I'm trying to explain to you is that what am I saying now that I have not said in the last 3 years? So why is it new to you?
Before you joined the NNPP?
No, but what is new?
It's new because you're an opposition member. All of a sudden, you are preaching...
No. What I'm doing is I'm giving an objective analysis. And I could as well say, as you are saying to me, I sound like somebody who has been bought by the president. I could say, oh, you sound like somebody who has been paid to make sure that he puts me in a corner. Have you been paid?
I should be asking you.
No, have you been paid?
You are the politician, I'm the journalist.
Have you been paid to corner me in this interview?
Do they pay journalists to do their jobs? We do our jobs normally.
You
are the politician. You are the guys. You are the guys who trade in on those kind of things.
Do you hear that? Let's not go into that. Let's focus on the issue, because if we go into that, I might offend you and offend the profession that I hold so highly of our journalism. We're all in Nigeria. They're good Nigerians, they're bad Nigerians, they're Nigerians that do good things, they're Nigerians that do bad things. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's nothing that I'm saying now that is new.
Why is it difficult for you to tell us what conversation you had with the president? Or is it a personal conversation?
And now look at, that is why I say when you have access to someone, you can understand when somebody doesn't have access to someone and then he comes and criticizes him and the rest. But when you have access to someone, it is not everything. It's not all the conversation that you discuss that you put in the public glare. But again, one interesting thing is that I think those who have related with the president or are relating with him now from a very close range will understand the way people view him from far. That's not who completely. That's not who he is. Sound individual. He knows what he's doing. When you sit with, I'm not saying this because I want to praise him or anything. Yeah, you might look at, okay, physically you look at him, but when you sit with him and he takes you through, or you talk and he responds to you one-on-one and break down issues in bits and pieces, and before you go to step 1, he has already thought of step 2, step 3, step 4, you will understand that this is somebody that understands what.
So he's mentally sound.
He's mentally sound.
Give me a moment, Honorable. We need to go on a break. But when we come back, there are other fundamental issues that I would like to delve into. Issues relating to the VP Shetima, and those are asking President Bola Tinubu to drop him. Well, what options does he have? Well, we're going to be talking also about the Kano politics, what it means for 2027, the ABC and the opposition coalition, and Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back into the conversation with Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin. Thanks so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight. You heard what Malam Nasir El-Rufai said about the issue of insecurity and the accusation that he made about how he thinks the federal government is handling, although the federal government has come out to say he's not paying bandits in the insecurity situation. How concerning do you think this is?
Okay, first I tell you this, which was the last thing I said before we went on break, and I think it covers for this. I think it's absolutely wrong for anybody to give an impression that the security challenges that the North, or any part of the country for that matter, is faced with at the moment is the fault of Tinubu.
Whose fault is it?
Inherited a government that was in power for 8 years, another one in power for 5 years, before then another one in power for 8 years, before then another in power for 5 years, 8 years, 2 years, 4 years, 3 years, 9 years, all the way down the line. Then out of that, about 60 or 70 years or so, you are saying, Sheung, you are saying is somebody who came 2 years, you want to pack everything and put on him, not only on security, even on economic issue, on education, on the health care, the general progress of the country. I find it unfair. I find it absolutely unfair.
Who should Nigerians then blame? Because this is the person who said Nigerians gave him the job.
No, listen. There is nothing wrong in you saying, look, this is where we're getting things wrong. Why don't we do it this way? But I have watched with keen interest a pattern in a lot of people that have come, without anybody specific in mind, a lot of people that have come to do interview here. You always ask them this intelligent question because they hammer about the problem. Then I notice you do this very smartly. You always ask that, if you are the one, what will you do as a solution? I find it very difficult to get people who give answers to that. So the president has been there for 2 years, and you want to pack everything and say he destroyed the economy, he destroyed the educational system, he destroyed the healthcare system, he destroyed the water system, he destroyed our social values, everything and the rest, just within 2 years. There is nothing wrong in complaining. There's nothing wrong in pointing out. I also used to point out issues to them. And you know something? He listens. And this is, but again, you have to go with superior argument. So if you know the president, you have to know that when you go to engage him, you have to go with superior
Does the president
arguments.
look to you like someone who is in touch with what the average Nigerian people are saying?
A president will, to the extent of the information that he gets. But again, once you are the president, Sheung, this organization channels, just even within this office, I'm pretty sure you are not in touch with everyone in this office. I'm pretty sure you are not in touch with everyone. You walk in, focus on the few people that they have to do with your job. Maybe perhaps you're walking on the corridor, you see somebody, you say, hello, how are you? I haven't even seen you for a while. Fear God, maybe in this same building, you've said to someone who comes in here every day, not to talk about somebody who sits to superintend over 200 million people. There are certain things he will hear. He's also human. He will get tired. He will sleep.
But he told us that he asked for the job, and that is the conversation. And that is the conversation. So, and is it bad? Just a moment. When Nigerians look at,
because you are taking a chunk of the
let me ask a question. It's a question. It's an interview, and I'm asking you, Honorable, if you come into office and you met something in a certain state, and 2 years later it has astronomically declined or gone in the negative, don't Nigerians have the right to speak up that our lives were better before you took over government? And that's why that's the argument. Are the lives of the Nigerian people better now than 2 years ago? Is it?
It's like a case of somebody to put a fire in a house, and the fire has gone all the way to about 90% of the house, and somebody comes in to put off the fire, and a bit of the debris of it still persists. Then you come and say you want to hold that person who just came in responsible. You see, you hit so hard on this, and the point I'm making is one point, and I will continue to stand on that point. Yes, there are challenges, but again, believe me, they're working. Now, when you talk about the security situation, there's no government. It doesn't even make sense for you to say a government will sit down and fold its arms while its citizens are being shot and the rest, or being killed by bandits and the rest. So much is going on. But what I said to you is that I did not say nobody should criticize the president. But the pattern it has taken is that it is being presented as if this man has always been and is the problem of Nigeria. And he's just
the president. The president.
So if you say, look, if you say, oh, okay, subsidy was removed, I've argued this on this channel. A lot of presidential candidates actually believe that, but I also said that it appears that we underestimated the impact of the removal of the subsidy. You are talking about, yes, difficulties. Yeah, sometimes there will be difficulties, then ease comes. Yesterday, but how do you make it in your preview that the president made that comment? You see, that singular action of saying we've met our revenue target and we are no longer borrowing from domestic market. Believe me, even a chairman, when I was chairman finance all the way to appropriations, this is what we kept hammering. How government will exit domestic market. You know, for someone who doesn't know, will not understand the consequences. That is what you call the crowding out effect. And our economy has suffered so much from the crowding out effect. Because what happens was that year after year, government goes to domestic market, mop up the money, and the banks have no money to lend to real sector. So, but for people who understand the issues, they know that a very solid foundation is being built. If you go back to the documents of our MTF arguments and the rest in the past, and severally we've also designed a plan to exit domestic market 10 years ago.
Honorable.
So it's such a, look, it's such a good news to see that, yeah, you could have the temporary difficulty and the rest, but we are getting on a solid
So the question here is that I'm willing to...
By the way, you are talking about now the industrial the revolution, promoting productions, whatsoever you have, and production, whatsoever. Most of this thing comes from facilities, from bank. Before, why they are not able to give, they only loan to oil and gas where they know that they are going to have instant this. They give it, please, just a moment. They give it to government, make their money at double interest rate. But now they will have excess liquidity to be able to give to the real sector.
Just for a moment. And I know as a politician, a lot of people come to you. Oh, school fees. Oh, hospital bill. Oh, we cannot feed. Oh, we have a problem. And and I'm very sure that if you make comparison between those who collect money from you today compared to 2-3 years ago, you probably see that maybe there are changes. The question I'm asking, and I'm not a blind, I'm not even a critic of the government. I'm just a journalist who do my job in holding government accountable, as Section 22 of the Constitution has asked us to do, that we hold our government accountable to the Nigerian people. So I'm just naturally doing my job. So I'm not even a critic of government. So, and I'm asking the question is, how do we then tie things together? I see what government is doing right. I know when they talk about NEL fund, what Abdulmumin Sawyer is doing, Abdulmumin Sawyer is doing, and how many hundreds of Nigerians who are taking the loan to be able to go to school. I know what Uzoma in Credit Corps, how they're giving Nigerians opportunity to be able to buy what they cannot afford naturally, credit to be able to do that. I see things that are happening that are good. We applaud this government. But the question is that how do you connect the dots? When all of these things are happening and the bottom line, on the food on the table, the money in the pocket of the average person is not reflected.
Two things I am going to see, but I'm trying to choose my word very carefully in order not to be misquoted, and secondly, in order not to sound insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. But let me also tell you something. Let me ask you a question. In 1990, is it possible for an individual in Nigeria to be worth $10 billion?
Go ahead, because of time.
These are economic reality. Their trajectory. The value of a property in 1990 is not the same in 2000. It's not the same 2010. The volume of money, even our national budget, the first development plan, 1962 to 1968, how much was the total sum in pounds, the sterling, or whatever, 50, 100 million, or thereabout? How much is our budget today, our national budget today? So why are you not asking that why is it that the entire budget of the country 30 years, 40 years ago is 1 billion or 2 billion or 5 billion, and today it is 50 trillion? Why are you not asking about that? These are certain realities about life. Things continue to appreciate, more money comes into the hands, and things go, inflation comes in, and things takes that the direction. The second issue I also want to tell you is that we always tend to forget this. And I was having a conversation just a few days with my elder sister, and we were having this kind of conversation, and I said, but come to think of it, I was a child growing up. So the first government that I started hearing and understanding that there's a government in Nigeria is Shagari, as a little child growing up. But I also know, even at that time, I could hear my parents saying, you can hear conversations with neighbors and everything, that the situation in the country is so bad. Then the next government will come. They will say the situation is worst. Then the next government will, can we continue like that in this country? We need to have some kind of national consensus, some kind of understanding that this is the development trajectory that we are going to take. And one of the big challenge of development, sustainable development, there's no continuity. If you look at both the development plans, the rolling plans, development plan from 1962 all the way to the 1985, then you talk about the rolling plan, 1990, 1992, 1993, 1998, the needs, or a 7-point agenda, everything till date, you will see similarities in all. But so long as you do not have sustainable continuity, somebody built an upper, somebody comes after that, throw it away.
We need to take another break, Honorable.
So all the bits and pieces of these issues, you need to put them together for it to make sense.
We'll go on another break, but when we come back, the VP Shetima, the power balancing the APC, and what some northern leaders are saying about Muslim ticket, we get our attention when we come back from this break. Join us again. you so much, everyone. Our closing moment with Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin. Why is this clamor? There are some people in the North Central, in the APC, saying that President Tinubu should have a change in going into 2027. And the question will be, what option study does he have?
I will not advise him to accede to that. And I have my reasons. If you like the president, for the fact that I like the president does not mean that I cannot disagree with him on some issues and the rest. And he is large-hearted enough to accommodate dissenting views. I think anybody who will advise the president at this point to think about that has no interest of the president at heart. And I've said this repeatedly, because if you weigh the implication, not because of how Shatima will react if that happens, but multiple issues that will come up if you decide to do a replacement, you will kneel down and beg that it is better that you stay the way you are. If you're thinking about changing the ticket, then again, you bring yourself back to the Muslim issue debate. So you get to a junction where people will now say, oh, this is the time for you to correct it and do something else. Then again, you open up conversation about is it going to be northwest or is it going to be northeast and the rest. Then again, if you reduce it down again, it goes down to personalities. Many people who are interested. Perhaps some of them are even the ones sponsoring the whole of these things. But in any case, as the president said he's going to replace the vice, no, he hasn't said that. But again, is it a good approach, or will it be a good thing to do? Absolutely.
We need to close. Arufai said yes. The president Tinubu would come third.
Yeah, you know, the interesting is that I don't know why you keep bringing back Arufai. I tell you something. I'm a huge fan of his. Incidentally, I'm a huge fan of his, and I would have wanted a situation where he is managed in a better way, because I can describe him as a committee of one. So he's somebody who alone can get a lot of things done. But particularly when you narrow it to the context of his disagreement with the National Security Advisor, that is where I blame northern leaders. When they come out to talk about power, Rufai, Ribadu, you cannot go in and resolve the issue. Everybody should be in his party and the rest. But throwing stones at each other, you know, you stop it. Right. Two very distinguished northerners. Right. Ribadu, fantastic. And I tell you this, and that is where I disagree with Rufai. In my own opinion, if you take away, we are totally out of time. If you take away, we are totally out of time. Ribadu, in my opinion, it's the best NSA this country has ever had.
Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Abdulmumin Jibrin, a member of the House of Reps. That's our conversation tonight. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.